You are listening to This is Oklahoma, hosted by Mike Hearn, telling stories of Oklahomans and those that have made it their home.
This podcast is made possible by the Made in Oklahoma program. Created for Oklahoma's entrepreneurs, their free-to-join program focuses on economic growth and development for the small businesses who grow, process, or manufacture a good within Oklahoma. Retail stores who sell Made in Oklahoma products can also benefit from their program. Above all, they encourage you to support and shop local wherever possible. Find them on Facebook and visit their website at www.madeinoklahoma.net to learn more.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of This is Oklahoma. Mike Hearn here, your host, back with another episode down at the Department of Agriculture today. I put my boots on just to come in this building because I don't think they'll let me in without them because I sound funny. But with me today, I have Ashely Neal and Emily Shuping, and we're going to talk about the collaboration with MIO and LocalFarmOK, which I'm going to put all the website in the descriptions. You can go straight to that and all the links to social media, and you can check out what we're talking about while you're listening. You can scroll and look at the amazing food and produce that's on there. But ladies, thanks for joining me today. Excited to dive into the story, and through MIO we've shared a lot of Oklahoma stories and with agriculture and stuff like that. But this one, most of those have actually been over Zoom this year, which is kind of annoying because of the virus. But it's nice to get in a room and do it in person.
Yay,
so
absolutely.
Thanks for inviting me down here to talk about it. Ashely, we'll start with you. Where with the local farm OK business that you have, I guess in a nutshell, before we dive into the crux of the business, I guess where you grow up, who are you, and why, how are you here today?
Okay. Ashely Neal, owner of LocalFarmOK, born and raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Lived there and left home when I was 18, went to university and then moved overseas for 9 years and lived an awesome life and moved back to Oklahoma because it made sense. It was easy and it's a wonderful place to raise a family. I am not a farmer by trade.
Yeah.
We had a manufacturing company that we sold 6 years ago. And we were looking for a way to have a more quality life with our family. So we thought farming sounded fun. We used to go to our ranch on the weekends to relax when we were in the manufacturing business. Mm-hmm. And it was really the only time I saw my husband happy. So when he said, I think I want to be a farmer, I'm like, okay. Luckily, selling up the manufacturing company was lucrative, so I knew we could depend on that. So I thought, okay, give it a shot. And LocalFarmOK was born about 6 years ago, and we started growing lettuce with our main goal of growing a ton of good quality produce and selling to hospitals. Mm-hmm. But the main reason we wanted to get out of manufacturing is because we wanted to get rid of the middleman. We always had people in our office, usually the FAA, that was furious with us because of a problem that someone else had caused, but we were a one-stop shop, so we were always taking the brunt of people's problems. So we wanted to get rid of that. So with lettuce, we were trying to sell to hospitals, but the middleman, we had to go through them in order to get the government contracts. So we decided and we sat down and we thought, how can we do what we want to do without that? And we thought, let's deliver to the end user.
Yeah.
So at first we started and we grew lettuce and tomatoes and things of that nature. And so our bags had maybe 2 or 3 components. And then we thought, well, let's partner with other people. Mm-hmm. And so we started seeking other farmers and other products. And we've just evolved considerably over the years. Yeah. And it's been a really awesome service. And then COVID really increased the need, and people's buying habits have changed a lot. So farm to home delivery makes a lot more sense today than it did a year ago.
That's really cool. So growing up in Tulsa, not really in the agricultural industry, like pretty much 90% of the people I've interviewed have a background in agriculture. Yeah. So it's really cool that you're not and you get into it that way. Tell me, why go overseas? Like, is this after college? You think I'm going 9 years? That's a long time.
It is. Well, I had an amazing job. I took a job for a media conglomerate that managed advertising pages for Business Week magazine and Newsweek. Mm-hmm. So we would go into developing countries and do these special sections. It was an incredible job, especially for a 20-something, getting to travel the world and on someone else's bill. And every penny I made was going into my pocket or spent adventuring. And but then 9/11 hit. and being an American overseas was a little different.
Oh, for sure.
And so I kind of reevaluated and thought I would move back to the U.S. and go to New York City and work for a friend's hedge fund, and stayed home for a week and was like, why am I going to leave here? So I've been in Tulsa ever since.
Love the pace of life here.
Yeah, it's affordable.
Yeah.
My family's there. I'm super close with them. I mean, I was always so far away from them, but I was always calling them all the time. So it made sense to get back home and be with them and raise a family. And I have, a husband, 2 kids, and an awesome business, and we are really happy.
That's awesome. I think probably doing something you never thought you'd be doing.
It's almost a joke. I mean, people laugh. They call it the Green Acres story because, I mean, after the Business Week gig, I worked for Elle magazine. So here I was, like this, big city girl moving back to Tulsa, and now I'm a farmer's wife.
That's awesome.
Traded the heels for boots, right?
Yeah. So I don't have my boots on today, but maybe I should have put mine on too.
Well, the most important thing is you wear them when you go out into the field, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not out there tiptoeing around in your heels.
Yes.
Which would be a disaster.
Yes.
That's super interesting. So when you're traveling and going to these countries, especially in the developing countries, agriculture is big too. Mm-hmm. So you're kind of around it, but not as aware of it because it's probably there, but you're not covering that as much.
Correct. And food and produce. I mean, I've always been a big proponent of healthy eating, but food and the culture built around food has always been a huge interest of mine. And cooking's always been a passion. So Local Farm has been super fun because while I said I cannot grow anything to save my life, I can sure cook it and give people ideas and inspirations on what to do with it. So that's my goal, is to teach people what to do with fresh produce, teach them that they can make things super, super fast and be proud of it, and it'll be delicious and healthy and seasonal and fresh. And but I fell in love with, I love spice. So being in all these developing economies with, just the spices and the flavors and the smells, all of it, it really inspired me.
Yeah, definitely. And the best thing about it, like you said, it's on somebody else's dime, and they're paying you to go write a story or be a part of it, and do that and take in all these life experiences that kids and people have paid thousands and thousands to do themselves.
It was a dream.
What's kind of, I guess, any standout memories of places you went to that just kind of were super, just didn't expect them to be as good as they were? And
Tanzania was incredible. We're dying to go back as a family. I hope that COVID will allow that to happen at some point. My daughter said she will get the shots to go, she says now. Lebanon, amazing. Can't wait to go back. Again, places built around food and just the culture. And it's so interesting. And I'm definitely drawn to the Middle East. And it's funny, it seems like so many people have such fears because of the media and how they've portrayed things like that. But don't believe the media.
It's nothing like it is that they
nothing.
tell you.
My mom thought I was in the middle of wars all the time based on what she was seeing on CNN, and I was never in the middle of any danger whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not, like when you go, and yes, there is some bad, like there's some bad in every country, but there's some great, and they're awesome people too. And the food, and I love, especially Middle East and kind of Europe too, like the food, it's such an event. It's not just like, here's your plate, get it, eat it as fast as you can, and go back to your TV or your phone or whatever it is. It's, it is an occasion every meal, and it's a family occasion too. When you get, and they might be grown in their own garden and just flavor everywhere. So I'm sure you had a great time doing that.
I loved it, and I miss it terribly. And thankfully, with technology where it is today, I can still talk to my friends all the time, and I'm still incredibly connected. Just waiting for them to say we can go back and visit.
Yeah. So to current time, then you sell, the family sells the business, and your husband's like, you know what, I'm happy, I think let's try this, and you try the middleman route and it's not working, so you think, hang on a second, let's go straight to consumer. But you develop all these relationships with producers and farmers and places all around the state. Tell me about that process. How is that going? And then how do we get to, I guess, launch day is next week, right? When this goes out.
Yeah, it's so exciting. It's been amazing to build relationships with all of our partners and suppliers. But again, another kind of silver lining of COVID is that people in our community now see more than ever the value and the importance of local. They see that we have to support our local providers in order to keep our economy booming, and people see how hard that, a lot of the food providers and farmers and everybody have been hit, so they're more inclined to, and people always assume local's more expensive, and that's not necessarily the case, but people are more educated and more willing to spend their money and think about intentionally buying local. So that's been awesome. So, we can't get our hands on enough local things right now. Our store has something for everyone, and each week we're adding new things, and then we've always had made in Oklahoma products in our store, and I had the opportunity to speak to the MIO Coalition's annual meeting in January, and it was incredible to touch base with all these people of these products that I've loved forever, and just such a brand recognition. The MIO with the circle around it, the red. It speaks so much to me. So the fact that LocalFarmOK has the opportunity to partner up with the MIO Coalition is unbelievable. It's such an opportunity, and it's exciting, and our customer base is going to love it, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, and for you, Emily, being on the MIO side, I'm sure it's great because you know all these people who are providing the produce, right? These are all the small family businesses, that some which we've interviewed and some which we are going to interview soon. How's that been for you, just being excited to make that phone call to say, hey, we've got an awesome partnership for you. I think this would be great.
Oh, it's been amazing. It's always been kind of a missing piece of the puzzle for us as MIO to find how do we get things, to people's doorstep. We work a lot with, the grocery stores and the restaurants to make sure that those products are available for the consumer to purchase once they're actually in the store or in the restaurant. But to find a way to get it right to people's doorstep and take out, the headache of having to go to the store, and, the fact that they get a bounty of local produce along with, these locally manufactured items. I think it just connects all the dots and is a partnership that makes sense so much for both of our organizations. And our membership is so excited to, see this partnership grow. And, it's just, I think, the start of something really great for both of us.
Yeah.
I agree.
So you got someone listening right now that thinks, wow, produce straight to my house, click a few buttons and it's there. Tell them about the process when they're listening, because I'm sure they're eager to know. And if you're anything like my wife, who's a foodie, is like screaming at the phone right now, or they're through their headphones like, tell me more. So
it's super easy, and we designed our system to be very customer driven. We want the customer to drive the process because we want it to be efficient and effective, and our big thing is keeping the overhead low so we can extend the cost savings onto the customer, because that's the big thing. We want it to be a great value. So basically you just go to our website, you click sign up, and you go through a super easy process. You create an account. It's a very affordable startup. It's $16 for an annual fee, which covers delivery costs, so each order, you don't have a delivery fee tacked on. You don't have a service fee tacked on like all of these, big box delivery services. And then you have an $8 cooler fee, and then that's it. Then you have your weekly charges. And it's very flexible. If you are going to be out of town, or if you don't like what the contents are going to be, or if you want to change your bag up, as long as you follow the rules and you have everything in by the Thursday night deadline, it's super easy. So once you sign up for a bag, which you sign up for the greens, the farm, or the variety bag, which are the different increments, then you can do it weekly or every other week. But I tell people you really can theoretically get a bag whenever you wish, as long as you're monitoring what the contents are and you're managing your account diligently. And it's super easy. And then once you sign up for the bag, you can add on any of the things from our local shop, and you can essentially do all of your grocery shopping right online.
And know that everything is coming, like you said, local to you, right? And that's the best part about it, is you're getting amazing products, but serving a great purpose too.
Absolutely. And these products have a story. And I love the stories. And I love using our social media to promote these people. A lot of people don't like to promote themselves or don't have the time to promote themselves, and I love a story. I buy things for stories, and so it's so fun to get to know people and to shine a spotlight on them, and let our community and our viewers learn as much as they can about them, and to support them as well.
The exciting thing that I'm looking at on the website right now is the recipe side of things. That doesn't seem like a thing your husband would be doing. This has a woman's touch to it.
That's what I do, yes.
This looks really cool.
Oh, thank you. No, I love being in the kitchen. It's my happy place, and each week I curate a recipe based on the contents in the bag. So I look at the bag and I come up with an idea, and it's so fun to be creative. And I'm not artistic in any other way, but in the kitchen. So I really enjoy it. And my main goal, I want people to realize it is so easy to get into the kitchen and use these items, because people are like, oh gosh, what do I do with an eggplant? So we always put emphasis on the items that we know people are sometimes scared of, and then people believe in themselves and they're going to make better choices, and they're going to eat at home more and do things like that. And that's what I love with the MIO Coalition box, is that they have curated a recipe as well to go along with their products. So putting that together with produce, it's a complete experience.
Yeah. Emily, do you want to talk about the box and how that came about? And
Yeah, absolutely. So, once we kind of decided that we wanted to do this partnership, we opened it up for our members to sign up for, who wants to participate in this? How can we get this going? So once we kind of had the list of members that really wanted to, take part in this, we decided, okay, which products would go great together? What could be, just an amazing box that people could open up each month and look forward to. So we're really excited for the April box. We've got some really great products in there. We've got, pasta and coffee and, locally made sausages and just some great items and some great recipes to go along with those that I think people are going to really have fun just experimenting in the kitchen and enjoying some wonderful food.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, I don't trust myself in the kitchen. I'm scared when I turn the oven on or I'm just give me the microwave, my George Foreman. I think I'll survive. I'm just so bad. And that's because my mum growing up was a chef, and she was I'm going to cook for you because that's just easier for me to cook for you than it is for me to teach you how to do it. Thanks, Mum. But I look at this and I look at how colorful the food is, and just, this, and like you said, the story, right? Everything has a story, and knowing where it's coming from. And I'm just I don't think I've ever been this geeked to eat a salad or eat healthy food. And I can definitely see your background too in the posts and everything, because you've definitely done a really good job of that. And that's probably one thing that you're pulling from, right? This job that you've had traveling the world and, agency stuff and just how things come together, marketing, branding, you can definitely see that. So I'm sure your husband's super happy to have that side of things as well.
Well, it's cool. He put together a business plan that meets his needs and meets my needs. And it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So
what does family think about all this, and how do they take it?
My children love our lettuce, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So that's why when I do my recipes and I'm curating, the weekly recipe, that really sadly is the only time of the week that I'm really excited and in the kitchen, because my kids just haven't hopped on the food train yet, which makes me sad because they're 12 and 10. Yeah. And I was a foodie from the moment I was born. I was into food. I loved everything. The only thing I didn't like was bananas. Still don't like them. Yeah. But so I'm hopeful that my children will eventually jump on the bandwagon of realizing, they take everything I say to heart, except for that, hey, this tastes good. Yeah. So maybe one day they'll believe me.
Because it's green, they don't like it.
Well, right? They will eat the lettuce. That's it. It's so funny. They will eat it plain. They won't have ranch. They won't do anything. I'm but here's this awesome ranch made at Red Rooster, just in Oklahoma City, and they're like, ugh. But anyway, so that's my biggest challenge, is getting them excited about it. But yeah, no, it's a wonderful business. It works really well. We can be very hands-on with our children. I juggle lots of jobs at home all day long, every day, and it's very fulfilling.
Yeah, I'm sure, right? But I'm sure to a point it's frustrating sometimes when the kids, you're like, this is amazing. Everyone loves this recipe right now. But I'm struggling the same as probably most parents are struggling, where they can't get their kids to eat anything. Well, green is good lettuce, but healthy food. And you're like, how can I make this into a smoothie that they might try?
They won't even do those. They're like, what did you put in there?
They know your tricks.
I don't trust you.
So bad. One day my prayers will be answered.
Yeah. So tell me about kind of obviously this is launching and the business is out and you have customers and stuff, but I guess, where future plans, what do you want to do? And then this is just the beginning, obviously, you know.
It is, and this is so exciting. I'm really excited because the MIO community is different than the local farm OK community. So it's really excited, when I was with the team at Crush this morning talking about how, you all are going to educate people about what local farm OK does, and we're going to be educating our community about what the MIO Coalition does. I just think because since local is the awareness is finally there, but these are two separate communities that aren't intersecting as much. It's just going to be so cool.
Absolutely.
I think that it really is a match made in heaven. So, and being able to have something every month for people to look forward to, I think it, like you had said before, it is a home run, and I think it's going to be great.
I'm sure it's tough sometimes too to pick what's got to go in the box or pick what's going to go in the bag every week. It is weekly, right?
It is weekly.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. With the produce is hard, and produce is such a fleeting commodity, and then a crop, you could be planning on it, and then a crop can go bad, or bad weather can happen. A lot of our stuff is grown indoors, so thankfully we have that. But then sometimes electricity can go out, and that messes that up. So there are lots of variables. Unfortunately, we only can get to where we're about 10 days out that we can plan for the next. We've tried to say, it would be really nice. We used to deliver our lettuce to Blue Apron, and we were so impressed. They had their plans out for 2 months of what they were going to do, and I was like, that's what we want to be like at some point. Well, it's just we can't get there. So
thanks, Oklahoma weather.
Yeah, or just life in general. Yeah. So it's nice that at least we know most of the items are shelf stable, or we know what the products are going to be with the MIO box. So that'll be good. We already know what April, May, and June are, and they're all awesome. So it's it's exciting, but we're constantly planning, constantly evolving, constantly marketing. Because we put stuff in the shop, but people are lazy, and unless you're putting it in front of them, they aren't going to necessarily buy. So I put a lot of emphasis on weekly emails and weekly social campaigns to constantly be educating. I am wanting to sell these products to people, and a lot of times my efforts are greater than what some of our partners are. They just make the product and want it to sell, and I'm like, come on, let's do this together. Let's sell more. So I just have a huge heart for.
Well, and I'm sure it's people around food, right? They buy the same thing every week. They buy the same groceries. They're in a routine. They don't really want to step out the boat a little bit, but hopefully they do with this when they buy in a variety pack, right? And they get something like, this was in the pack that I picked this week. Let me try it. And that's one of the things I'm sure that's been great for you, is that when they do try and think, this is actually really good, they continue to order it.
When I get the feedback and oh my gosh, I've never met an eggplant. That's the biggest one that we always get. But people are baby white turnips are in the bag this week, and a lot of times people are like, I've never tried these, but I love them. Or golden beets was another one that people, I've never had tried that. I know they're it's good to hear when people are broadening their horizons and trying new things, and if someone has that shopping list, you get what you get in the bag, and that's how we keep the pricing so affordable. Then we tell people, gift it to people if you don't like it, because it's still, the bag is going to be cheaper than what you're going to buy at the store, I promise, and the quality is going to be so much greater. But we do have produce add-on items that you can add on. So if you need to get those strawberries and you need to get those blueberries, you can get those list items. So
the stuff that because of the weather isn't made here, but you can add those in. So it saves you the trip going to the grocery store or ordering from bigger box stores, and having it delivered as well.
Yeah, we have great supplier base. When we did the Blue Apron deal, we became aware of lots of awesome supply channels out there that were verifying suppliers and stuff. So in our 5 years of doing the delivery, we've really formed some great relationships with getting good quality stuff.
That's so good, isn't it? So it's $16 a week plus the $8 for the bag?
No, $16 for the membership fee.
Okay.
$8 for just the bag deposit. Gotcha. It's kind of like a milk bottle deposit type deal. And then you can get the greens bag for $19.99 a week, the farm bag for $21.99 a week, and the variety bag for $26.99 a week.
Oh, it's really nothing.
It's nothing when you saw how big that is. It's a ton. Emily knows
It's awesome. It just takes all the guesswork about out of what produce you're going to eat that week, and finding fun ways to incorporate it, and you get such a good amount of produce for a little bit of nothing compared to what you're going to get at the store. And I have thoroughly thoroughly enjoyed my Local Farm OK subscription. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm thinking about this from like a, like people who, January 1 rolls around, new goals this year, we're going to lose 20 pounds or whatever. Going and finding healthy food, if you've never done it before, is a giant nightmare, isn't it? It's something that like I get anxiety thinking about having to go find healthy food, right? But when you sign up for something like this, you don't even have to think. It's already there. Yep. Which is that's one thing that came to my mind was, people of during COVID, like I'm sat on my backside for 8 weeks or whatever it is, like I gained weight, and this just seems to match perfectly with, changing your health and health goals and kind of focusing more on that. Well, food is 90% of the battle when you try and lose weight, isn't it? So getting people into those routines is tough, and walking down the aisles at wherever the stores that you're going to are, you see the double cheeseburgers or whatever it is that are comfortable and look great, and you cave, right? Because we haven't trained our minds not to against that, not to fight against that stuff. But when you get the box of this produce, you think, oh, I don't have to think about this
anymore.
And
it's going to last so much longer as well, because the majority of the produce in the grocery store has been sitting in a warehouse somewhere, and then it sits out at the grocery store and it loses its luster really well, but then it goes down so fast, a lot of it, where ours is coming directly to us, and obviously the wait time of sitting anywhere before it gets to someone's plate is considerable. And it's a different experience.
How many, I guess, houses are you delivering to roughly on average at the moment?
Well, this week we had 1,200 deliveries.
Wow.
So but we do Tulsa, the whole Tulsa metropolitan area, Oklahoma City, Edmond, all the way down to Norman, Moore, Midwest City, Yukon, Mustang. So it's exciting. We launched in the Oklahoma City area in November, right after Thanksgiving, and it's just been awesome. And I feel like the MIO community is very Oklahoma City focused, and so I'm excited to I think it can only enhance our presence here.
Yeah. So this is good. When you're listening to this will be Friday, April 2nd. And this partnership between MIO and yourself, LocalFarmOK, has come together, and that's launch day. What's happening that day? What can people find and scroll and see on social media?
We're super excited to drop, it ended up being 12 bags to some hand-picked food specialty Oklahoma-focused Instagrammers and social media people. So they're going to be getting the MIO Box as well as a variety bag from LocalFarmOK, and it's going to be so awesome to see what they do with it. Some of the people are super creative, out of the box, funky chefs, and I think it's going to be really fun to see what they do with the items. And then some are mom influencers, so it'll be really good to see what they do with the recipes that are provided from MIO. And it's just, I think it's going to be. I'm excited. I get excited to see what people do with our products.
The feedback must be great, isn't it? Because that. And I said this on a recent podcast, when you have feedback from family, okay, you take it with a grain of salt, right? Because they feel obligated to tell you you're doing great work. But when you get feedback from someone you've never met before, that's when you know you're doing a great work, right? You're doing a great job, and they love the products, and you just relate that back to all your suppliers as well. So that must make you feel so good.
Yeah, and it's just exciting to put this Oklahoma-specific box together for people, because when people go to the grocery store, I know like here in Oklahoma City and Homeland, I know that they have like specific MIO sections, but a lot of times people don't realize that they're buying local. I mean, I remember I bought some Sue Ann's jelly a couple of years ago. I bought it because it said Scotch Bonnet, not because I had no idea it was local. And so when I met her, I'm like, oh my God, I love your products. So it's just exciting that people will gain more awareness and more recognition that these are local products, and they may be familiar with them and not realize that they've been supporting local all along.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, for everyone listening, I will post the links to both the MIO and LocalFarmOK, and you can sign up and check this awesome stuff out, because you will want to eat healthy after seeing all this stuff, and you will want to help out, local Oklahoma stores and producers, and it's fabulous, and it amazes me that people aren't, signing up. Well, I think once they see this, they're going to realize that it's, like you mentioned earlier, people are just unaware. And hopefully with the help of this podcast and everyone on Instagram, they'll start seeing this thing. And yeah, ladies, thanks so much for coming together. I love seeing partnerships like this because, it's about the story, like you mentioned earlier. There's so many stories that come together, and this is a culmination of many. So, thank you so much for coming down. Thanks for everyone for listening.
Thanks
and we
for
will
having us.
post the podcast on, you'll be listening today, Friday the 2nd of April, and I'll post all the links in the description so you can go straight to the Instagram and websites and sign up and get you some good food. So thanks for listening. We'll catch you next episode. Cheers.
This podcast is made possible by the Made in Oklahoma program, created for Oklahoma's entrepreneurs. Their free-to-join program focuses on economic growth and development for the small businesses who grow, process, or manufacture a good within Oklahoma. Retail stores who sell Made in Oklahoma products can also benefit from their program. Above all, they encourage you to support and shop local wherever possible. Find them on Facebook and visit their website at www.madeinoklahoma.net to learn more.
Thank you for listening. We are inspired by those around us and hope that you are too. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review so we can keep telling your stories. For more great Oklahoma content, follow This is Oklahoma on Facebook and Instagram.